So for everybody watching, this is Mr. Chig Martin. He is a governor candidate for the great state of Alabama. I no longer reside in Alabama, but spent a lot of my time there, grew up there. I hold Alabama very near and dear to my heart. There'll be several people from Alabama watching, several people that I sent it out to from the state of Alabama. Like I said, we might bring them up and ask some questions earlier. But Mr. Martin's looking to be the first Democrat to be elected governor in Alabama since, I believe, 1998. It has been quite a while.
Don Siegelman.
Yep, absolutely. So why don't you, I'll give you a few minutes. I'll mute up, just give you a chance to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and then we'll kind of deep dive into it.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for contacting us and letting us be a part of what you do. One of the things we take great pride is we don't pick and choose things we do. We try to do everything. We feel like if you're going to be a real campaign and represent all, you have to deal with all. So we're glad to be here tonight. And the second thing I want to say, and I want to let people know this, I have been extremely sick since Tuesday, but life goes on in the real world, whether you're sick or not. So if I sound a little bad and sound a little slow and off, I had to take a nap before this interview to make sure I got enough energy to get through this tonight. But I picked up something this week. But I'm Chig Martin. I'm out of the Wiregrass region of Alabama, southeast Alabama. Went to school at Enterprise High School, graduated there, was in the Alabama public school system my whole 12 years. Fortunately, I was able, and it was a very lucky time in my life to get a football scholarship to the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, and it paid for my school, gave me a chance to get a quality education, helped my family out. It was a big blessing in my life. After I graduated from there, and I'm telling you guys, I like to tell my whole story because most people you see running for governor come from privilege, entitlement, and things like that. Well, I can tell you this. I started at the bottom. I started out when I got through with that football scholarship. I sold Lux vacuum cleaners door to door is the way I started my career out. And it was tough. And I worked my way through really tough jobs and kept working and eventually became a small business owner, and then started a company that's 23 years old now that we sell maintenance and safety products and it's mainly military contractors that fix helicopters and jets and things for the government. And then my mom and dad had owned a small mobile home park. It's 61 years old. They passed away and left that to me. So I run it now, but I grew up in that business. It's been around my whole life. And then I like to tell people I'm an innovative businessman. We started the first hemp company in the state of Alabama, Honeysuckle Hemp Company, first CBD company in the state. And I take great pride in that. And I'll just tell you this. I run a campaign that is all about people. I do not accept special interest money. Just to give you an idea, last night through this sickness, I had to go over and speak to a community in Alabama. They're trying to inject CO2, carbon dioxide, 3,000 feet underground under 74,000 acres. And I'm not going to let Alabama be a dumping ground. The elected officials were not there because they're in the pockets of the people doing this. So if you want a candidate that wants to govern for all, it's me.
Well, absolutely. We're glad that you reached back out to us, and I'm very happy to have you here. I try to, I host a lot of lives, and some of them are just open debate panels, and then I try to host events like this, and to kind of break it down for everybody. The main reason I wanted to do this, and I reached out to governor candidates from all across the country. We have a lot of states where the governor is constitutionally bound to where they cannot run again. They're term limited. And in this instance, Governor Kay Ivey from Alabama is one of those governors. So no matter what, I think, whether the Alabama Democrats or Republicans, either one can all agree that we're happy to see that change coming. So if you were to win this and step into Montgomery, what would be your first your first action? What are you looking to achieve first?
The first thing I want to do, and I'll tell you why I want to do this. We're the sixth ranked state in poverty in America. Alabamians are so used to living at this poverty rate, we don't even know the difference in most instances across the state because we've been in it in our whole life. But it's the big fix for a lot of stuff starts with sound economic development, recruiting good industry in the state with top earning jobs, with healthcare benefit opportunities, with retirement opportunities. We have had people sit at that governor's office. I just say it like it is. If I get elected, the first thing I'm going to do is get that recliner out of the governor's office because that thing is full of cheese nibblers and everything else because it's been set in a lot for the last 10 years. But you're going to have a governor that works for you. I'm going to put the best industry recruiting panel together in this nation. We're going to target good jobs here in Alabama. I don't want assembly plants that pay you a dollar over minimum wage just to make you feel like they're doing something for you special. We're going to get the good jobs in here. And the way you alleviate healthcare problems is you bring in new jobs that provide those healthcare opportunities. And I'll just name you some of the things I want to do. One of the things I want to do in the state, I want to have the Alabama Gaming and Healthcare Fund. And I created that. I'm the only candidate offering solutions. I want to have 4 areas around the state that contain our gambling, full-fledged casino gambling. I want there to be family entertainment there. I want there to be entertainment for adults, concerts, plays, you name it, golf courses, amusement parks. We have nothing in Alabama. I want to keep all that money in the state. I don't want to contract the services out anymore with state business. That's where it gets corrupt. That's where the dollars switch pockets. I want this to be run by the state, employed by state and Alabamians having the gainful employment there. Well, here's the kicker. I want the money that this generates to go into this fund, and I want it to be there to help Alabamians offset healthcare costs. I want part of this fund to go to helping rural hospitals stay afloat and basic healthcare centers. I want to create, because it is non-existent, a mental health care program here in the state of Alabama. And guess what? I'm proposing something here that is an economic mechanism that we are using in our favor to help our citizens. Nothing I'm asking for is saying depending on government money. We've got to become self-sufficient here in Alabama. That's the kind of things I'm going to do. When it comes to the educational system in Alabama, we're dismal, near the bottom for basically my whole life, if you want to just know the truth. And I'm 57 years old. We've got to get these legislators off their butt, let the citizens of Alabama vote on the lottery because it's going to pass about 90% of the vote. We got to stop building schools in Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee while our students sit in classrooms that are dilapidating. Okay. One thing I'm going to do here in the state of Alabama for our educational system, I'm going to submit. We don't know how to run an educational system, and I'm going to bring in some of the, and this is one of my investments, and it's in our students. We're going to bring in some of the top educational program managers in this country right here to Alabama and help us get on track. But that's some of the things I want to do.
And knowing that Alabama's been a very, very heavy red state for a very long time, I mean, even down to the legislator, how do you bridge that party divide running as a Democrat in Alabama to get these results done?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm just going to tell you straight up. I am not a guy if you talk to me for 2 hours, you're not going to hear me talking about political parties because I don't really give a damn about them. Okay. I care about the state I live in and the citizens. So I don't know to answer your question, but all I can tell you is you're going to see what comes out of my mouth is for all Alabamians, fair, equal representation. Trust me, if anybody's tried to get swayed to give special treatment and things like this, I don't do it. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, however you choose to live your life. Every Alabamian has the right to fair and equal representation by their governor. I will govern for all. As far as the political lines, that's up to the citizens. If they want to decide to do things the same way they're going, and they want to, I mean, quite honestly, elect people that don't know the three branches of government, they have the opportunity to do it.
I'm with you on that. When we talk to them here every day, they can't name them. So, but stepping kind of back into your economic policy, I think I've heard you talk a lot about the lottery and trying to bring it to Alabama. Can you speak to that and what that vision looks like for you?
Well, here's what's going to happen. If a guy like me can get elected in Alabama, that is going to immediately put a pressure on the legislators in the state of Alabama that they've never felt. They're going to say, uh-oh, our job is not safe. And let me just tell you, Clayton, a little difference about me and them. I am running truly because I want to, and I love our citizens, and that's why I'm running. If I tell people this, they ask me, what about winning and losing? I don't study that. I don't care about that because that's obviously I want to win, but I don't worry about winning or losing as part of my daily thought process because what matters to me is the effort I put forth to the citizens, and I want to be honest at every step of the way with the citizens, and that's not always, the easiest. It can cause conflict. Honesty can, but when you give that honesty, that conflict is where it ends right then. When your people can handle honesty, that's what I've learned in my 35-year business career. And so that's what you're going to get out of me. Yeah, I mean, as far as the political parts, that's really up to the citizens. They can either keep doing like they're doing, or they can open their eyes a little bit and say, guess what? This guy's not like the rest of them, you know?
Yeah.
I take zero special interest money, Clayton, just so you know. I'm the least funded candidate in the race.
Absolutely. I actually agree with that and believe that to be true. Let's kind of step into the business owner. You've been a long-time business owner in the state of Alabama. Can you just speak to the business that you do own and how you think your time as an entrepreneur in the state will translate into, your time as governor?
Well, I'll just tell you this. I'll say it in a nutshell about the character of my companies and my business. One of our most dearly beloved employees that we love like a family member was affected by this HB 445 hemp bill, and we fought to the end to keep her job, man. I mean, we were at a point where we were losing every month, but we were keeping her job. And it got to the point where the state Alabama, went to war against natural medicine because they would rather have it manufactured in a plant in New Jersey, a pharmaceutical. They welcome those with open arms. But we finally got to the point where they had completely wiped out our sales, and small businesses don't do this, but we were able to put our employee on give them a 90-day opportunity, paid to try to find work. I mean, we had to lose somebody, but we try to do things right, man. And that's the way my business career has been. I'll just tell you this. I'm a big believer. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If anything in my business career, if my company's at fault, we have one goal. And that goal is to jump on that problem, correct it as quickly as possible without putting any burden on our customer. And now if our customer's wrong, we deal with good people, fortunately. The process reverses. It's good common sense. My daughter is running the companies now, and that's why I say I've been very fortunate. And I've been able to kind of semi-retire here at a fairly young age in Alabama, and that's why it's like I feel like I've got the perfect amount of experience. I'm wanting to, I'm wanting to govern for all Alabamians. I don't know what else I can offer.
Yeah, I want to stay on this hemp and the bill that they're trying to pass in Alabama. That was actually pretty short-lived for the farm bill in several states, including my own now in Georgia. You're starting to see bans across the state for certain items that were approved through that. I know it's near and dear to you. So how can you come in
I wanted to
and
say something. I wanted to say something
go ahead?
to your point. No, when they reopened the government a couple of months ago and approved it to open back up, well, they put a bill that wipes the hemp industry out in 365 days nationally on that bill to open the government up. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, we've actually had some conversations about that. Definitely a lot of people who did not agree with that. So, and I guess, if it goes to a federal stance, then it's federal. But, as long as it's at a state level, what can you do to come in and convince not only the legislator, right, but the people of Alabama that that there is good money in this and that we can invest in the state using these funds if we were able to bring this here and implement it?
Well, here's the thing. You have a very small group of legislators that controlled something that a big majority of the state finds popular. I've tried to tell people, you think about it. We've got a government trying to say natural products, those are dirty words, but pharmaceutical companies good. As soon as they shut down the hemp, within 3 weeks, they're introducing Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals in Huntsville, Alabama, $6.1 billion investment in the state. I don't think that is coincidental.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you on that.
Yeah, the alcohol and pharmaceutical companies spent $850 million last year lobbying to not, because alcohol sales were down, pharmaceutical sales were down, all because people found a natural product that worked for them. There is, natural is they try to make natural out as a bad thing, and it's a great thing. You think about it, anybody that wants to live a healthy lifestyle, what do they want? Natural products.
Yeah, absolutely. I know my wife's real big on natural and trying to be healthy and all that, and it's natural as she can be. So I agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
So, and looking at let's go back to the healthcare piece for a minute. I think I've heard at one point you mentioned a specific type of universal healthcare plan for the state of Alabama. Maybe not. Maybe that's not the words for it. But can you dive into your healthcare visions for Alabama?
No, I'll just tell you exactly how I feel about healthcare, and this will kind of sum it up. To me, in an advanced society, healthcare needs to be an option for our citizens. Healthcare should not be a political tool, because at the end of the day, the only thing that's happened is that person is trying to live. They're not getting a new Mercedes. They're not getting a $500 card to go get a steak dinner. They're getting to live. It's very important to me for our citizens to have health care. And that's going to be something, like I said, me introducing, that obviously the Alabama Gaming and Healthcare Fund would have to be passed by the legislation. But the things that I can do short term is we have refused to expand the Medicaid. And I would do it just because we have so many citizens. Listen, I have a daughter that personally is facing these healthcare rises and cost right now. Listen, mine is ridiculous because I am a single. I'm through a personal health care plan, and you would not even believe what I have to pay at my age every month for health care. I don't even know how the average person can afford it, but I want our people to have health care. I'll tell you that. Whether you want to take it political or not, I care about our people.
So what does that expansion look like in Alabama?
Well,
And I'm not sure. Forgive me for not being sure. I'm not sure budgetarily how Alabama's running right now, if they're in deficit or if they've come out into a surplus. But what does funding that look like?
so here's the way it works. And let me just say this, Clayton. Don't hold me to any specific numbers because I'm just trying to give the gist of it, okay?
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
yeah. So don't. I mean, I just want to make that clear. I'm just trying to. So basically, the way it would work out, if we would see, this is the number I can't remember, but if the way it would work, I think if we paid 229 or 59 $1 million in health in this expansion of Medicaid, at the end of the year, the federal government gives us 90% of that back as part of this expansion. So the way it comes out, and like I said, I don't know the numbers, but it's something like we would pay like $29 million as a state for over 500,000 people to have healthcare coverage that don't currently have it, that are non-covered people right now. So that's the deal on that. And listen, you got to realize, I mean, the way I'm looking at it, I mean, we're sixth in poverty. We've got uh, a lot of people struggling with health care. We gotta do things immediately to help our people if it's available. Because like I said, health care is just not political to me.
So, I mean, outside of, some additional taxes, or if there is money there that could be reallocated, do you think something like the lottery is the way to pay for that?
Honestly, I think we have the money right now because we've had some money given to us by the federal government as part of the COVID programs that we haven't even been efficient enough to know how to allot this money and spend it. I can't remember what it was last week, but they gave away a significant amount of money. I want to say either to prisons or something. Like I say, I'm a little bit off my game this week with this, but yeah, I just don't think the state at the end of the day paying $29 million is that big of a deal. I don't. I think. I mean, we waste a lot more money on stupid stuff that we don't need. I can tell you that.
Well, good deal. So, what are some? There's a lot of opportunity in education. I graduated from a school in DeKalb County in Alabama, back
Is that
several years ago.
North
Um,
Alabama?
yeah, yeah, North Alabama, Northeast Alabama.
You know
Yeah,
where the pigs gorge is?
yeah, pretty close. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
close.
no, I spoke there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's definitely a lot of opportunity in education. So, I mean, outside of funding the education, well, what kind of resources do you feel needs to be put into the education system? And just what would you like to see improve overall in education for Alabama?
Well, like I said, I think it starts with us admitting that we don't know how to run an educational program because the numbers and rankings do not lie. And like I said, I always tell people, you choose your source to get the rankings from, and they're all going to be all about the same. We're at the bottom. Like I said, it starts with leadership within that program. And that's why I said I want to make investments as a governor. And one of those investments is bringing in top educational program managers from some of the top tier states in the United States that are scoring the high numbers on achievement tests. And we've got to get that culture of learning into our school system. And so it starts there, getting good people, getting people that know how to run state educational programs because we do not. I mean, if you're 46th and 47th, it means you just don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's one thing to maybe be there, but then to be there consistently is a whole different issue. And that's going to take some people to definitely buy into a system and move forward with it for sure.
Yeah.
So outside of that, what's some of the biggest opportunities that you think Alabama has? And I know it looks like as far as a running who you'd be running against, Tuberville is making a strong sweep for the Republican side. So how do you think you would be better than Tuberville?
Oh, listen. Well, I don't think I know I'm better than Tuberville. I think you'd already know that, but yeah, I just have a battle on my hands dealing with the way the politics are here in Alabama. Listen, I would run circles around any other candidate in a debate. I'm a real businessman in this state that deals with Alabamians every single day, and so yeah, I don't run with the elite. I had a mom that graduated, I mean, that only made it to 10th grade of school. My dad finished high school, and, but we're fighters in this life, man. I grew up with parents that started small businesses and they had to be street smart in this business. So that's where I come from. There is no comparison to me and Tommy Tuberville. I mean, listen, if you want me to, well, if you run around all day talking about threats of Islamic things here in Alabama, and that's your campaign. That's not what's bugging the real world Alabamians. That's not our problem right now. And then you got Doug Jones, that after all the hype, the only thing they can talk about is lottery. And I mean, where's they? I mean, listen, I'll just tell you this: if the establishment Democrats and they're trying to do it, if they want to, oh, Doug Jones is in. Doug Jones, man, oh my God, Doug Jones has already lost to Tommy Tuberville as the incumbent in that senator's race by 472,000 votes. And if it ends up being Doug Jones against Tommy Tuberville, Tommy Tuberville's biggest decision will be what's the entree going to be and what kind of drinks we having at the inauguration party. So
That's understood there. Well, I've taken up about half the time. We've got some people that want to ask some questions, more so some people who I know and trust. So I'm going to ask them to come up and ask some questions. I know one of them for sure, so I'll send her an invite. Do better if you want to come up and ask a question. You're more than welcome to. Mods allow
and
me.
and one thing why this is all happening, I want to say to people,
1 second,
listen, all
Brandon.
the people. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to tell all the people out there that I come from a world where people don't sit around making snide comments and things like that. And if there's one thing I want to teach today's youth, that is not any way to get anywhere in this life, whether it be business or on a personal level. And somebody's got to say it, and I don't mind if it's me because I would say it to my own daughter if I saw it. But listen, I'm a man trying to run and help the state. Just take it for what it's worth. Vote for me, don't vote for me. But I'm a businessman that's sacrificing a lot to try to help the state. I'm not getting anything out of it.
Absolutely. All right. Do better. You got something for him?
Yeah, Mr. Martin, I appreciate you coming up here and kind of telling us, the platform that you stand on and things that you want to run on to make your state better. My question to you is, and I'm gonna have to use TikTok language, so you're gonna have to kind of read between the lines, or his live will get taken down. During C19, in the year of like 2020 to 2022. What were your thoughts about states shutting down businesses or certain businesses, impeding their opportunity in the free market to do what they need to do, but not shutting down other businesses and allowing them to run? What would you do if a pandemic like that came around in, 2026, 2027, And how would you run your state if that were to happen?
I really, honestly, I'm not even sure what you're talking about. I'm trying. Can you give me a hint?
Yeah, so during the pandemic that happened, there were a lot of states that shut down. A lot of that was pushed by the governors and the legislatures of different states. They shut small businesses down, but allowed large companies to continue
Okay.
running, which I think disproportionately affected smaller businesses and allowed larger businesses to thrive. So I would be curious if something like that were to happen again, how would you manage that type of crisis? And would you go for people's constitutional rights, or would you shut your state down?
No, I wouldn't shut my state down. Listen, I'm a small business person, and that's the way I feed my family. So, and I'm not going to do that to people. People have to take in accountability if, as a citizen, if they feel safe enough to go out and shop or whatever it may be. I will tell you this: I will have loads of professional medical advice going out to our citizens, so that citizens know what their risk is, but I'm not going to be shutting down our state.
No, I appreciate that. I'll let others talk, but thank you for answering that. And I
Hey,
hope that if you do get in, that you stand by that, because a lot of people,
join us. We'd
it
love to
seems
have
like
you.
yeah, it seems like they will say that, and then, when push comes to shove, they tend to bend the knee, and I hope you are not that person. So good
Thank you.
luck to you.
Thank
I
you. Hey,
appreciate
so
that.
nice to meet you.
You too.
Thank you. Do better. Live.
Hey, so I actually live in Alabama. I work in Huntsville in aerospace and defense. I live in Scottsboro.
Okay.
So you're from Enterprise? Is that where you currently?
Yeah, I've lived down in Enterprise in the Dothan area pretty much my entire life, with the exception of the time I was going to college in Tennessee.
Okay. So are you from Alabama? Were you born and
Oh yeah.
raised in Alabama?
Yeah, listen, I'm doing
Not that
I'm
that
doing I'm doing
cancels
this
out, but
I'm doing this interview right now from the house that I was born in 57 years ago.
okay.
Yeah, so
So
I'm definitely from Alabama.
I mean, I'm not even originally from Alabama, so I was just curious. I'm also curious to know. You said your background, as far as career, has been in business.
Yeah.
What is your experience? What kind of business? What kind of?
Well, the first, I've always been, my career when I worked for other people, I was always in marketing and outside sales. And so I started my own company. I guess it's been about 23 years ago, and it's a small business that sells, excuse me, tooling like maintenance tools and specialized safety products to the just to the aerospace industry mainly. Like for instance, at a let's just say at an Air Force base, a lot of people don't know this, but it's not actually people in the Air Force that does the maintenance on the airplanes. It's contractors that
Yeah,
they, yeah.
absolutely. My whole career has been in aerospace and defense, and I've worked for NASA contractors. I've worked for. Now I'm currently with DoD. So I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
daughter runs we're actually a woman owned business. My daughter took over that company. So,
I'm
um,
sorry. What did you say?
I said my daughter took over the company, and now is I'm part owner, but it's a small woman owned business now, and she runs it. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So I'm also a mother to two. I have a 3-year old and a 5-year old. My 5-year old, he's in kindergarten. My 3-year old is still in daycare. What do you think about woke woke school agendas? Do you think that's
Well, I'll just tell you this, because and let me just tell you this. I don't get into too much of the as I was saying, uh, like I don't know. I can just tell you this. I believe that, for instance, history, accurate details of history should be taught. Period. You know, if it
I agree. Yeah.
about if it, yeah. I mean, that's all I can say. I can tell you, one of the things in my political life, I don't really get into the like for instance, the woke and all that. I mean, you just ask me what you want to know and I'll tell you, but I don't really think in that frame. I'm a common sense, no frills kind of guy. Like I said, if it comes to, if it happened, if it's in history, it happened. If it's important, teach about it. Because obviously not every aspect of history's important enough to teach in a classroom because there's only limited time. But yeah, if it was a big part of history, teach about it. Teach about it accurately.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you, let's see, I mean, you live in Alabama, you know. So are you religious? Are you a Christian? Are you, if you don't mind me asking?
No. Listen, I don't mind telling you my routine. I don't go to a church, but I find solace in my spiritual world privately, and I ask for guidance. I like to ask for forgiveness. I have a thing that, I don't mind saying this because I want you to know, if there's people that I feel like that are enemies in my life, I ask for me to have forgiveness for that person and to wish them the best in their life, because I think it's important not to hold on to things like that internally for your own.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. And so, yes, but I do that all privately.
So do you think that that should never be, so okay, I don't know if you're familiar with the school system here, but my mom was actually the president of the school board here for 6 years in the city that I mentioned that I live in. So I've kind of seen it from, obviously I was younger. I'm 30 now. I was about 20 or so when she was on the school board. So I've seen a lot of just backwards type stuff going on in the school system here, at least. I don't know what I'm trying to frame this question.
Well, I can tell you this because I kind of feel somewhat where you're going, but I can tell you this. I believe truly in separation of state and religion, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
This it's just like in your mother's district or whatever. There wasn't just Christians in the classroom. There were many other religions, and as a state, it's our job to make sure these people get treated equally and fairly and without bias of any religion. It's just it's not what. I'll even take it a step farther. I know you're talking about religion, but see, I personally don't believe teachers should be pushing political agendas in the public educational setting.
Absolutely not. And that was was one thing that my mom actually dealt with a lot and fought for was she had a lot of people that didn't like her for this reason because she stood up for that, and she she had some confrontation type issues with some teachers who tried to bring up politics. Like, she of course believes like and I believe this too now as a mother. Your classroom should not know who you voted for, period. As a teacher, that shouldn't be, do you agree?
Your job is to teach, expand their minds, not hone it in a direction that teacher wants you to hone it in. Listen, teachers' jobs, and teachers good, because all of us have had a good teacher in our life, and
Right.
good teachers are more than just the educational systems of that classroom. Good teachers know when you're not feeling good as a student or when you might be having troubles at home. You know what I mean? And they're there for you and they support you, but political things, and it doesn't matter which way you believe, it should be left out of the classroom. And I agree with you.
Absolutely. Let's see what else, because I've got my husband right here too, and obviously we have kids. What's that? I'm sorry.
What's his name?
Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? Sorry, I came into the.
Yeah, he
this
just came in,
conversation.
so he's kind of just
Oh.
coming in and hearing all of this.
Oh, take a look, yeah.
So So what do you think sets you apart from Tommy Tuberville?
You already know that now. The first thing is I talk to you. I don't run from your questions. I don't dip, duck, dive, dodge in that dodgeballs little thing. But yeah, listen, I communicate with our citizens. That's what sets me apart. Send Tommy Tuberville any one of these questions. You won't even get a response back.
Right. So one thing a friend of mine, Tris, just put in the comments, and I agree. And I hope it didn't come off that way. So yes, I absolutely agree that politics should be left out of the classroom. A child should never know. Like I heard stories of the election in 2024, the presidential election of obviously not here, but in other bigger cities, wherever, of teachers talking about or like having voting in the classroom and then like play vote type scenarios. I don't know. Also, forgive me, I'm tired right now. But so, and I will say, like Tris said, and this is what I was getting at. So, yes, I know you said that about inclusivity of different religions, but I mean, we are talking about Alabama here. I mean, and I haven't looked up the statistics on this, but I'd venture to guess that yeah, most people here are Christians. A large majority of people are Christians, and we, as Alabamians, we do take that seriously. It's quote unquote the Bible Belt. So, are you against having any religion in the classroom at all?
Yeah, I just don't see. I just don't see where it's. I mean, if there's a subject in the school on that pertains to it or something, but yeah, I don't. I mean, the job of our teachers and students is to go to get a formal education, not to be a pulpit. That's just my. I mean, and I mean, I think like I was saying, a good teacher. They know how to show their love to students and their caring nature and things like that. But I mean, if there are and unfortunately, that's why there are Christian schools, private schools that people want more of that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, the thing about it, when you look at an Alabama classroom, the chances are it's going to be 90%, maybe even 95% Christian, but I guarantee you there's going to be some that come from different people that come from different countries and different religions, and everybody's got to get a fair chance at an education without bias. I'm just, religion in the classroom is just not something that I want really, but I mean, it's not something I harp against. I just don't want to dodge the conversation with you. I'm trying to do my best, but it's not one of my focuses, quite honestly. Like I said, I don't want personal views of teachers politically, possibly even religiously. I want our students to be able to make their own way from getting educated in our classroom, come up with their own ideas and thoughts and way to go forward in life.
So another friend of mine is in the comments, and he said this, and I totally come from this stance as well. Do you think that having flying American flags in classrooms and saying the Pledge of Allegiance would be taken out?
Listen, I did it every day of my life in the classroom, and I believe in elementary school. Yeah, I have zero problem with it. But I also want to tell you the things we're talking about. I'm really, and I'm being completely honest with you here. I'm focused on a lot of things like in the Black Belt region of Alabama, where kids are going to bed without food and going to bed sick without health care, people not having enough money to pay their mortgage. I mean, and I'm telling you that because those are the big focuses right now for me as a candidate, is helping improve quality of life for citizens in the sixth ranked state. Yeah.
So how do you propose that gets taken care or helped, or
Well, what are we talking about? Which part?
The black belt, helping people, did you say pay their mortgages if they can't, or
Oh,
not
listen,
have children go to bed hungry? Which, of course, I agree, no child should go to bed hungry. But what is your answer to that? Do you think?
it starts with a state and if you notice, I've told you one thing earlier. I said I want to invest in, and that's a educational program manager. One of the other investments I want to make in this state is getting infrastructure into the Black Belt region of this state, which, by the way, I took a 3-day tour of and met with mayors from cities like Selma and learned a lot. And anyway, we've got to build road, bridges, places for industrial parks. We've got to build on trade school programs in Alabama. And trade school, I would like to call it the Alabama Job Corps Centers, that work hand in hand with the industry that we're bringing into the state. It's got to be a system. That's what I'm good at as a businessman, is systems. So,
So,
but
with that being said,
yeah,
with what money?
yeah, I mean, we have money in the state right now. I mean, I was trying to remember what it was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we put a significant amount into just a program last week that was basically, we have a lot of COVID money that we've not been able to allocate. And so it's just being wasteful spending now. Listen, that's the reason that Ivy's walking out giving one of the biggest raises in year to year to state employees, which I'm totally fine with, just so you know. I'm all about increasing wages in the state, but the state has money, and we don't have leadership. That's our problem.
I agree. She's not been a great governor, and I don't think anybody honestly feels like that.
And listen, one thing I have to tell you too, you got to realize something. I am a common working businessman. And so what citizens have to understand is there's not a book out there that's called Learn How to Be a Governor for Dummies. There is on the job training required when you take over a state as governor. All I can let you know is the character of me and the mindset of the way I think. And I hope you understand that.
Yeah. And we all, of course, have our own opinions and everything. But the infrastructure is a big one. And so what about, I mean, I don't even know, because I've grown up in Northeast Alabama. What is considered the Black Belt? Is that like Selma and?
Well, there's a set of counties. You can either say it starts at the Georgia line in the center part of the state of Alabama, or the Mississippi line. And I can't remember exactly how many counties is. I believe it's about 12, something like that. But anyway, it's some of the poorest and depressed counties in the state of Alabama that literally doesn't have opportunities for employment, some within 75, 80 miles. And it's places where don't have proper sanitation in place and things like that for their restrooms in their homes and things like that. It's a very deprived area. And I think, and like I said, people just living off of breadcrumbs out there. And we have to make sure that and listen, I know you're from up in the Huntsville area. Huntsville is an easy area to recruit in the state of Alabama. And don't think that governors and listen, I know Tommy Battles personally in Huntsville. I actually went to his office and sat down with him one of the last trips I was there. Mm-hmm. And Huntsville is a fairly easy place right now to recruit industry. Where the challenge is in the rest of the state of Alabama. And that's where I really have to work hard to accomplish some of the goals I want to accomplish.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, but at the same time, I feel like on a national scale, yeah, if you're in the industry of aerospace and defense, or even telecom, if you're familiar with AdTran, of course, you know what Huntsville is. But I don't think a lot of people still realize all the stuff, everything the innovation that happens here, I mean, just how big of so much of everything comes out of Huntsville when it comes to defense and telecom, like I said, and like Hudson Alpha, so many industries,
Yeah, like SCS.
science engineering services.
Yeah, and
Yeah. I mean, so many contractors. I actually work right down the road from SES.
yeah, right out there. Was it called Tryon or something? Or
I work out at the Jetplex, so I'm in. I'll just say I work for Boeing.
yeah. I've got a good friend that's out there where you are. So that was, she was at Fort Rucker and transferred up there.
I think Brandon, you were at Fort Rucker, right, Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah,
Years ago.
Brandon, I'll let you take it away.
She's in purchasing.
Okay.
Yeah, how you doing, Mr. Martin? I'm from Northwest Alabama, Muscle Shoals, Florence area.
That's where one of my good buddies is a country music star is from out there in Tuscumbia.
Okay, yeah.
You know the band Shenandoah?
Yeah, Marty Rabin.
Yeah, Marty's a good friend of mine, and his son Matt.
Yeah, I used to live right down the road from him.
Yeah, we had a rally at the Alabama Hall of Fame for the campaign.
Yeah. But I just wanted to ask a couple of things. But number one, something that happened pretty recently here in my area.
Yeah.
We call it the Cotton Flats on US 43, and it's farmland. It's beautiful. It just recently, I don't know if it got bought. I'm not sure on all that. They had a council meeting and everything, and now it's going to be a solar farm.
Okay.
I just wanted to get your opinion on that, and I've seen it happening in several different areas in Alabama where they buy off people's land. They offer more than what they could ever get for it. What would your opinion be on that?
Yeah, I don't know what I can tell you this. When it comes to solar farms, we don't really have any down in this part of the state.
Okay.
Not that I know of, quite honestly. I've not seen any. So that's not really something that I know a lot about. I don't know what the environmental impact is of the solar farms, and if you do, please share it, because I have studied more on the data centers coming to the state. That's kind of what's been the hot topic with a lot of people I talk to. But to be quite honest, you're the first person that's asked me anything about the solar farms. That's why I don't know a whole lot about what the impact is to your area with that and all that. But feel free to share. Yeah, because I listen.
And this is just my opinion, just me personally. We have 5 just between Cherokee and Leeton, Alabama. We have 5. And one of them in Cherokee is over 400 acres. And I understand the farmers got paid for their land, but what happens, I can't remember the lifespan. I think it's 12 years of a solar panel, something in that area. So what happens when these things go bad? And let's just say the state or TVA or whoever decides, okay, this is a bad area. We're not getting enough output. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do we handle that? Like, do we keep letting them buy up the land, or?
Well, I mean, you get in, and I don't know a lot about the solar panels, so just so we're clear about that. But when it comes to what you're talking about there, it seems like the big challenge is freedom and capitalism if you want to sell your own property. And, so you start getting into a dilemma. Do you tell citizens what they can or cannot do?
Right.
Yeah. And so, but I am telling you this, I'm not well prepared on this subject. So, but I always tell people, I'll speak on something a little bit just so you kind of know where I'm coming from, but I don't know a lot. Honest to God, you're the first one that's asked me about it. And so I'm not putting a lot of thought into it.
Right. And I do know that you wouldn't have any, I kind of want to say influence if you were to become governor on TVA.
Yeah.
But here in my area also, I don't know if you've ever heard of Colbert Steam Plant on the Tennessee River.
No, but I'm pretty familiar with TVA because I went to college in Chattanooga, and they've got a
Right. The headquarters, right.
yeah.
So what they done there is they completely demolished it, and now it is a a gas plant.
Okay.
And there's a lot of environmental impacts, like the creeks around that area. They tell you not to fish in, and things like that, not to go through them or anything.
Yeah, I don't like that. Just so you know. Yeah.
That's the problem I'm kind of having, and we had a few years ago. Have you ever heard of Freight Car America?
I can't say that I have, buddy. Honestly.
Okay, it was
Keep in mind, I am on the other side of the state.
right,
Yeah.
but it was a big company that employed a bunch of people, and they pulled out and moved to Mexico. What would you do if you were to become governor to prevent companies from pulling out of Alabama and going elsewhere?
You know, there is no catch-all solution. Every single company is going to have a different challenge, and every single thing is going to have to be looked at individually. And you know, you have to see, is it competition that's making them move? Is it the lack of transportation available for their product here in Alabama, which that's a bad example. They're a rail company, but you did say freight car, right?
Yes, Freight Car America. They are actually used to be Navistar.
Yeah, every situation has its own circumstances of why they're not surviving. I mean, whether it be price of raw materials, and so you got to dive in there and work. And quite honestly, I would assume those were fairly good paying jobs. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be honest. I worked there for 5 years as a welder.
Yeah,
They
that's
built
right.
the state actually owns the plant and the property.
Yeah.
They built it for that reason.
Yeah.
So now, kind of to piggyback off of that, what does the state do with that property? It's built to be a rail car plant. So how do you go about revamping that and changing it to a different company or a different enterprise entirely?
So I mean, but the state of Alabama, you're saying the state owns it?
The state owns it. The state owns the property.
The
The
rail yard?
Navistar and Freight Car leased the property by the year.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, you know, I don't know exactly the whole. I have to see something in my mind, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the whole situation, but I can tell you this. And the reason I asked you about it, it sounded like a good paying job, and those are the ones you do have to get busy and try to save those. Now, I will tell you this: if you would have told me it was a assembling plant that was paying $8 or $9 an hour,
Right.
I'm not. That's not what I'm after anyway in the state, because those don't make a living. But what you're talking about makes people a living.
Right. And just to give you a kind of a sense of what the plant looks like, it looks like a rail yard with a big building where we assembled rail cars.
I mean, you know, the first thing I would think is I don't know if you were on here. I was saying one of the first things I wanted to do as an investment was bring in one of the top industry recruiting teams in the country right here at Alabama. I want to be a part of this weekly. And I've tried to tell people one of the ways you close deals and bring companies down Alabama is you have the governor involved. It just means something. But I mean, the best thing I could tell you, just thinking off the cuff, is we would have to try to find somebody, another company like them that was suited from somewhere across the United States or the world, and do our jobs and recruit somebody in there. That's the only solution I know.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. And the problem I have with that, when they first built the building, Bob Riley done the ribbon cutting when they opened the place, and it was Navistar. Navistar pulled out and moved to Huntsville. Empty building. Then Freight Car America came in. They were there maybe 8 years. Now they've pulled out and moved to Mexico with a mass layoff.
Okay.
So where would you think that the employees that were welders and painters and things like that, other than union jobs, I mean, in my area in the northwest corner, we have nowhere else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Brandon, I want to wrap it up on that one. You can answer it, Chad, but I want to wrap up on that one because I promised him an hour, and with him being sick all week, I want to hold true to that for him. So,
yeah, we got to, and just to tell you, we got to fight for those jobs. We can't be losing those jobs, or if we do lose them, we can't lose them without a fight from our state. And yeah, so
thank you so much for your time.
thank you. We cutting this thing loose.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, I was going to drop him and then just give you a chance to give some closing remarks, and then yeah, we'll close it out.
Okay. Clayton, thank you again. Seriously, I really appreciate it, and I just want to say, tell everyone here tonight, if there's one thing you take about this thing tonight, I want you to say, whichever way you lean in this world, I really don't care personally. But you just remember this: I'm a candidate that deals directly with the people. Will always do that. I don't run from the people. I enjoy our citizens. There are challenges in the state, and the only way to do something and make things better is tackle them directly. And that's what I try to do. And that's what we're going to do if we get into office here. And I need everybody. I don't care if you're red, blue, purple. If you want to see this guy right here make it to November, you're going to have to pull that Democratic ticket on May 19th. It might be like some of you walking into a hot fire. I know how some of you are, but I'm telling you, get me to November, and then you can get your candidates will all be there. I promise you. But get me to November, and we can change this state. I am the best candidate in this state right now. I am open to debate any governor candidate in the state of Alabama. You let me know the time, the place. I'll let you pick the moderator. I'll let you pick the venue. This camp is not scared. We're here to represent all Alabamians. Vote Chad Chig Martin for governor of Alabama. www.chadchigmartin.com. Go over and find us on Facebook, the fastest growing Facebook page in the state. Chad Chig Martin for governor of Alabama. Clayton, you're the man. Thank you, my friend.
Chad, I appreciate you reaching out. Hopefully we can do this again sometime this year. But before the primaries, if you make it through that, before the general, absolutely. I appreciate everything.
Thank you so much, man. Y'all have a great evening. God bless everybody out there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.